Let's see if I can order by subject. I think they're already in order. Good. So we'll go down this way, and that way. I thought I had more than that, but I guess not. Okay. First question, 2.211. That's number 11 in the book. If you look in 2.2, number 11 in the book, it'll look like this question. Notice I said it will look like. It will not be the same. It will be very similar. This is number 7 online. So everybody's number 7 on 2.2 will look like this question. Is it a test question? Yes and no. Okay. I like asking some of these questions, but I don't want you to have to graph it. I'll show you. Let's blow the graph up. I just want you to go by the graph. So we'll just blow it up a little bit. There it is. Okay, remember when we talked about histograms and bar charts? Which one's this one? It's a histogram because the boxes are what? Teaching. They're touching. Okay? Distraction. Touching. All right? So if they are touching, it's a histogram. All right? Now, I didn't go over the class width because it's very simple. You always go over the class width by looking at the classes. So 70 minus 60 is 10, 80 minus 70 is 10, 90 minus 80 is 10. That's your class width. That's how you find your class width.
So if you want to say that you had, it was 200, then the width would be 100.
Class width is the upper class limit minus the lower class limit. Upper class limit minus the lower class limit. Okay, I said identify the classes and their frequencies. Well, you got 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100, 100 to 110, 110 to 120. So it should be right in here. Okay, yeah, you can't have, I'm sorry. It's going to be 60 to 69, 70 to 79, 80 to 89, 90 to 99, because you cannot include one number in two groups. Remember that. You can't do that. So it has to have a boundary. The boundary here is 60 to 69. That's the class. And now, the best way to show you this, no sneezing in class. The best way to show you this is in the original form of the frequency distribution. Okay? So what I'll do is I'll show you the best way to find the class width. The frequency distribution is going to be written like this. And it's going to have 60 to 69, 70 to 79, 80 to 89, 90 to 99, 100 to 109, 110 to 119, 120 to 129, ... You got it? This is the classes, and the classes are made up of two numbers. The lower class limit and the upper class limit. The lower class limit is on the left. The upper class limit is on the right. And then your frequency, or is a 25-cent word for what? Head count, is 2, 2, 14, 2, 2, 14, 50, 45, 50, 45, 42, 33, and ... So the best way to find the class width is to subtract vertically. No yawning in class either. It's always got to be consecutive. You can't take 109 minus 69. You can't do that. It's got to be consecutive limits. So what's 60 minus 70? Or what's 70 minus 60? What's 99 minus 89? 10. So the class width is 10 in this case. And of course the class boundaries, 60 to 69, 70 to 79, 80 to 89, and so on. What if I wanted to find n? What do? I told you all this in your notes. How do you find n with a graph? You count up all the what? The head counts. 2 plus 2 is 4, 18, 68. 68 be what? 110, 155, 188, 190, 100, 200? What is it? 190, 200? What is it? Add them up. Somebody take your calculator and add them up. Tell me what you got. Okay, so n is equal to 200. Which has the highest frequency? Well, which one has the highest frequency? 90 to 99, because it has 50. It's the highest peak. So that would be 90 to 99. Which one has the lowest? 150 to 159, because it has 1. What percent of students had an IQ of at least? What does at least mean? That's the lowest number. So the lowest number is 130, right? So that means 9 plus 1 is 10, 12. So somebody take 12 and divide it by 200. You don't need a calculator for that, people. Please don't use a calculator for that. That's just hanging a sign around your neck that says I'm ignorant. Okay? Why? Look, 12 over what? 12 over 200. Simplify. 6 over what? And anything over 100, you move the decimal one place and what? 2 places to the what? To the left, 0.06 or 6 what? You do not need a calculator for that. So you should be okay with 6%. And you feel good about yourself. So you don't need to walk up to somebody's house at 12 o'clock in the morning and beat on the door. Did any students have an IQ of 162? Okay, which one is it? Is it this one, D? It's got to be A or D. Which one is it? I think it's D. Okay, there are some good questions here for test questions, but I can't stand A through G. I will put A through C and A through D on a test, but I will not put A through G because I do not like those. But it's a good question to study for a test. It's got everything that I would put on a test, but I wouldn't put 15 cards or whatever. Each one of these are good test questions by themselves. So that's a good homework question. Whoever sent it, that's a good homework question, and it's a good test question. What is A through E? F. What is A through F? I mean G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. 7. Those are 7 good test questions. Okay, so that's one question out of the way. Oh, shoot. Am I recording? Good. All right, because we've got 2 people out today and they need to. All right, 2.2. That is your name. Oh, my Lord. I didn't notice that because I just look at last names. Boy, I bet had a time with that, haven't you? Man. All right, 2.2. A lot of people go, who's Stephen King? Just be quiet. Sometimes my grandfather said, keep your mouth shut. You won't show your ignorance. All right, 2.2, 27. That's in the book. Number 10, online. Okay. I do not ask you to do this very much. If this is a test question, it's one test question because you have to actually do the. So I'm gonna put it in an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm gonna hit this button right here, and I'm gonna copy in Excel. I'm only doing this to organize it. Okay. First thing you do with any data is put them what? Put it in order. Good job. So you're the one that listened that day. All right, so I'm going to put them all in order. So I just highlight this whole list, and I hit data and sort. Capiche? Okay, now I go back and look. I don't know what kind of, okay, it's just by, so classes, we just have categories. 0 category, 1 category. They're not classes because they don't have a, what happened? Okay. It's not like they're going to say anything. Okay, so here we go. Let me make that. So, I mean, we'll just highlight that one yellow. Highlight these, thing old Verde Espanol. Espanol, Amarillo. How do you say the yellow? Amarillo. Trying to impress y'all. Let's see. Dang old. I know how to say it in French. Dang old rouge, but how do you say red in? I'm sorry, y'all all mumbled. There was one big mumble.
Roja.
Roja. Roja. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, 4, thank you. 4, Roja. How do you say blue?
Azul.
Huh?
Azul.
Azul? Sounds like something on Ghostbusters. Azul. The original, I tried to watch that second Ghostbusters and I just turned it off after about 15 minutes. That was the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen. You know, sometimes they do a movie remake and it's okay. And sometimes it's like, what the hell were they thinking? You're going to try to replace Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, and you picked the people you picked. That wasn't very smart. For those of you that have a life. Let's see. How do you say purple in Spanish? Fuchsia? Or you just say another color? Which one is it? Okay, nobody's going to talk. Everybody's hit on a bull today. Okay, we'll just go with magenta. How about that?
Okay.
How do you say magenta?
I don't know how to say purple. It was purra.
Okay, we'll just stay magenta and just go with magenta. All right, so 0, how many we got? So 0, we got 1. 1, we got how many? Well, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You got 15. And 2, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. And 3. How many we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 4. Got 4. And then 5, we got 1. Which one's the modal frequency? 1, because it's got the what? It's got the most. Okay. It looks like it's a little bit skewed right because most of the data is on the what? It's on the left-hand side. What do you mean? Well, if you draw a handy dandy bell curve, the bell curve is going to look like that. It's on the side, and the middle is right about there. So what is it? Skewed what? Right. Meaning that most of the data is on the what of center, left of center. So I don't know what they're going to ask you, but we'll go back to the question now. And 1, 15, 13, 6, 4, 1. 1, 15, 13, 6, 4, 1. 1, 15, 1, 15, 13, 6, 4, 1. And we feel good about ourselves. Oh, come on. Construct a relative frequency. Okay, somebody take your calculator. You got to add them all up. How many are there? Does it say up here 40? Okay, so 1 divided by 40. It says do not round, type integers or decimals. It says do not round. Well, what the? No, I ain't gonna say nothing. Somebody take your calculator and do 1 divided by 40. Tell me what you get. It says do not round, so I guess you're going to have to type in 10 digits if it's got it. Point what? Okay, 1 divided by 40, or 0 divided by 40 is 0, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, 1. I'm 0.025, I'm sorry. How many was 15? I'm about ready to throw this keyboard across the room. Okay.
Wait,
No,
that
it's
one's
just
0.
a 1.
See what I'm saying?
0.
1 divided by 40 is what?
0.
But
Once
0.
you have it as 0.
See? And that's,
Television 0. You gotta go down 1. That's 0. Where the 0 to the 0
Are we
to 5
doing
should be 0, and then the 0.025 should be at the 1 column.
Okay, what's 1 divided by 40?
0.025.
Okay, 15 divided by 40.
0.375.
375? Okay, you have to divide each one by 40. 13 divided by 40. 3 divided by 40. I'm sorry, not 3 divided by 40. I'm sorry. 6 divided by 40. Point what? Okay, 4 divided by 40. That's 0.1. And 1 divided by is 0.375. That should be the answer.
Yes, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading. Okay, 0.025. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. What percentage of households in the survey have 3 televisions? 15%. Okay, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. So here, you got to sort them, you got to count them, and then I told you how to find the relative frequency. Relative frequency is a 25-cent word for percentage. You put that number 1 over 40, 15 over 40, 13 over 40, and so on. And that will give you the 15%. And then they're going to ask you what percentage of households have 3 televisions, 15, and then what percentage of households have, oh, I didn't answer that. What percentage of households have 4 or more? Well, what's 0.1, what's 10 cent plus 2.5 cents? 12.5 cents. That'd be 0.125, which would be 12.5. Capiche? And now we feel good about ourselves.
Now, I might be slow. Can you go back?
Yeah.
Please? Just go back to that.
Let me erase this right there. Okay, we'll go back to where?
To the last column. Right there.
No leaving class. All right,
So the 0 up top is always the sign of 0.
right here.
No, I'm not on the second. Yeah. So 0.
How many zeros are there?
How'd you get it? 0.
How many zeros are there?
There.
There's a 1 0, so that'd be 1 over 40.
40. Okay.
Yeah, you don't, and see, this is not a good problem to do this, because you have one here and you have one here, and it gets you confused. Okay.
Same with the 5. There's
Yeah.
only one 5 though.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
okay.
Yeah, it's confusing because these two numbers, if they hadn't,
I see it now.
yeah, it's very, you saw what I did. I did right here, I did, I don't know what I did. What did I do here? I did something. I did what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be 1/40, but I did something else.
You added in 2 decimals.
Yeah, I added the last 2 decimals or something. I can't remember what I did. But anyway. All right, now, construct a frequency histogram, a bar chart, of the correct, okay, I'm going to have to get out of this. Hold on. Lord have mercy. All right, there. Sorry about that. Okay, so what does this look like? We already graphed it, didn't we? I graphed it a while ago. What did it look like? It looked a little bit skewed what? Right, because all the data is on the what? It's on the left. So you find in a bar chart with all the data on the what? Left. Which one has all the data? Well, not all the data. Which one has, right there. Looks like the second and third one's going to be the tallest. Which one is the second and the third is the tallest? C is in Charlie? Yes or no? There we go. This is a little bit outrageous. Okay, so the second and third one's going to be about equal, right? So you're looking for the second and the third to be about equal. That's 38%. That's 33%. So the third one is going to be a little bit lower than the second one. Which one is the third one a little bit lower than the second one? D is in Delta. Third one is a little bit lower than the second one. Huh? Okay, let's go back. How many numbers you got here? Here's the first one. Here's the second one. Here's the third one. This one's 38%. That one's 33%. So the third one is a little bit lower than the what? Second one. Which one is the third one lower than the second one? Should be Delta. Are we going to JHKLMOP, or what are we going to next? That's ridiculous. Oh my God. Skewed what? Skewed right. Should be skewed right. There's not an I? Okay, how many is I? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. That's 9 good questions. I try not to give you anything above C or D on the test, because I don't feel like hearing y'all complain. Next question. 2.33/1. Number 3 in the book. Number 1 online. Following graph shows the, okay, we need to go to this graph first. All right, so I want y'all to draw that graph. Okay, the cardinal rule of graph making has been done here. You never start the vertical axis without 0. Never. So that's one problem. See the vertical axis, what does it start with? 34.5. That's a no-no. You can make increments of 30,000 and start with 0, or you can make increments of 10,000 and start with 0. But you do not start a y-axis with a non-zero number. That's a no-no. So that's going to be a question. All right. So that's what it looks like, but that's going to be the number 1 takeaway. So let me get rid of this. Hold on a second. How is the bar graph misleading? Okay. The vertical axis does not start with what? 0. This makes the bars start unclear. The vertical scaling is incorrect. All the bars look larger. Change to indicate the female change. So yeah, because if you look at the, yeah, it exaggerates. What is this? Median earnings. It exaggerates the gaps between the years. So like 2006, they didn't make any money compared to 2007. It throws it out of kilter. This would be the more accurate. And what does it look like? All the earnings are about what? They're about the same. Okay, this one is inaccurate. Why? Will you ever, in your lifetime, do yearly averages across the nation or across the state and be equal? No. So that one's not right. This one's not right because it's not following the right. It's not following the right totals. It's going increasing, and these, even though it's exaggerated, they're not increasing. They're going up and down. So C is your only answer. Is that it? Of course not. What does the new graph seem to convey? Fairly constant. I would not. What's wrong with the word completely? That's like this one right here. So I would say probably. You can't say slowly increased because that one right there is increased and then it goes what? Down and then up. So I would say A probably. Remember, half of getting these questions right is what with the question? Reading the question. And you got to read them carefully. So guys, you're already handicapped because you're not going to read them. So you need to just do the best you can. Females are going to whip you on those. They read direction very carefully. All right, 3.1, we're in 3.1, so you're going to see a lot more test questions here. 3.1, 12/7. This is a test question. Now you got to remember how to get the median. How do you get the median? How many numbers are there?
If it's odd, it's just the
Okay.
If it's even, it's the average.
Okay, so 5, 12, 23, blank, 41, 48. So we got 2 here, 2 here. So 23 plus blank divided by 2 is equal to what? 30.5. 23 plus x divided by 2 is equal to 30. Now finish it. Get rid of the common denominator, so you got to multiply by 2 on both sides. Now if you can't do it, just write it up as what? Being a failure. Make sure you go home and tell everybody in your family that you're a failure in life. That's probably why that guy's not going to go. Probably. Oh, too much vodka. So multiply both sides by 2. I'll tell you what, since I'm such a good teacher, I'll animate it for you. I'll make it blue. How about that? And if you do it on one side, do it on the other. 23 plus x is equal to 71. Check my math. I'm sorry, not 71. 61. 61. And how do you get rid of adding 23? And if you do it on one side, you got to do it on the other, Hubert. Thank you, class. And what's 61 minus 23? I'm sorry, what'd you say, 38? So your other number is 38. Now that's nothing but reverse what? Thinking. That's really not a statistics question. That's more of a critical thinking question. So if you don't know how to do it, that means you pretty much what? Suck at critical thinking. You should probably quit school. It's easy to quit, right? 38. I feel good about myself. Next question. Probably going to be one just like it. I get that question a lot. Delete. Yep. 3.1, 12. So let's see if it's different. Are the numbers different? They're not? That's highly unusual. Because most of the time, it's sent by the same person. Might be sent by the same person, yeah. It is sent by the same person. She might have hit the send button twice. All right, this is 3.137/13. Oh yeah, anything that's got 5 or 7 or 8 numbers is a test question. I'm not even going to look at the questions. Why? Because I'm going to do it in an Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to find everything I can about it, and then you can go back to the questions. Because that's how I told you to do any question like this, because you get extra what? Practice. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put mean. No yawning in class. Median. Mode. Range. Mid-range. Variance. And standard deviation. I'm also going to do the 5-number summary on this one too. So go ahead and take a couple of minutes. What time is it? 1:10? All right, take 5 minutes and get everything that I've taught you about these numbers, everything. That means 5-number summary, box plot, variance, standard deviation, normal curve, everything. I've already said it. I'm off the clock, right? It's number 37. 3.137. Hold on. Let me go back to the email where I say what question it is and you don't listen. Number 13. And do I need to say number 13 like 5 or 6 times, or you got it? You got it? You sure? That can be. Get her done. Don't look at the questions. I'll just get rid of that because I don't care about the questions. I want you to do everything. If you can do everything I've taught you about chapter 3, as far as excluding Z-score, and then you can handle any question on the homework or test. There's one thing I haven't shown y'all, and I've got to show y'all before the test, so that'll probably be Thursday.
How many numbers do you want us to round to?
Just round to let's see what the question says. Hold on. Okay, it's not rounding to anything, so just round to the hundredths. As far as the answers go. Somebody 50 or 55, 50 or 55? I don't know, y'all check me.
It's just,
Oh, 355s, okay. There's my numbers. Went over a little bit. It's 117, so we took 7 minutes. There's the numbers. Should be your numbers. And I'm going to put a normal distribution right here. That's going to be equal to the middle. I don't know what just happened, so I'm just going to, it looks like somehow I extended the, okay. Hold on a second. Divided by 9. That's equal to this number raised to the 0.5 power. Okay, I'll try this again. take that number and put it right there, equals this number plus that number, and F4. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that standard deviation, but it's going crazy, so we'll just, I don't know why it's jumping to 10 digits all of a sudden. Y'all know what it is. There you go. At least y'all are learning.
How did you get the C code?
How did I get the what?
The C code, like the numbers and codes. How'd you get that?
You always square that number. Remember the formula. You got to square it. Minus standard deviation F4. And copy that 2 places to the left. Like I say, I don't know what, something went crazy with the, let me go back here and change this because some reason, I don't know why, when I used standard deviation, it jumped up to 10 digits and I didn't set it on 10 digits. I had it set on 4. Oh, 13. Thank you for your cooperation. Laughing in class. Change these to 4. Y'all just bear with me. I'm trying to make everything uniform so y'all don't get too crazy. Okay, now let's do the 5-number summary. So there's your normal distribution. And now we're going to do our 5-number summary. So our five-number summary consists of what? The mean, the median, and the what? The max. And then the first quartile and the third quartile. Remember, what's the second quartile? Second quartile is the median. So, equals that number. And we'll call that gray. And then our median is going to be equal to that number. And that is that color. Our max is equal to that number. And we'll make that, dang old, that burnt orange. Okay, now I want you to find the first and the third quartiles. Now, be careful because you got to find, where is 52.5? Somebody tell me where 52.5 is. It's right, I'm going to put a dot right here. There's 52.5. It's supposed to be a big one, but of course nothing works right. There. 52.5 is where? Between the 50 and the what? The 55. So you got to count this 50 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many numbers are above the blue dot? 5. So that's odd or even. So you just got to find the middle number. And the middle number is 40. So I'm on. Somebody playing the jug in here.
Yeah.
Somebody guarantee somebody jug.
Yeah, this is a joke.
I know.
What would that take on any kind of
The Darlings. The Darlings. Okay, so I'm gonna color that. You're not supposed to mention that name. Not being different.
Name of the show. Hee-haw.
Yeah, I can see that. Hee-haw, yep. Let's go with blue, and we'll color that one blue. And that's equal to that number right there. I don't know what happened to that one. Something's going on with this thing. And what's the middle number down here? And that's that one, and we'll cover that one per day. Now draw your box plot. I'm sorry, Oconee, it's a little boring. That's what happens when nobody talks. So what do? You draw a straight line. And you put a max and a min. Max and a min, that's pretty self-explanatory. And the mid-range goes in the middle. That's your number line. So what's the min? 25? So the 25 goes here. 75 goes here. And what's the mid-range? It's off the thing. What's the mid-range?
50.
50 even? Okay, so 25 to 50 is 75. Half of 75 is whatever. I'm just going to do 25 half to 12.5. 12 is what, 47, 37? 12 here is 62. And then half here is 6 or 12. Let's see, that's 12, right? Half of 12 is 6, that's 31. 6 here is 43. 6 here is 56. And 6 here would be 68. Now I left off the 0.5. Is that really needed here? No, because you're just locating a box. All right, so we use the min, we use the max, and we use the mid-range. So what's the only three numbers left? The first, second, and third. So we put the blue, that's 40. 40 is somewhere right in here. The green is 55, so 55 would be somewhere in there. And then the yellow is 52.5. 52.5 is somewhere in there. So our box plot is saying that our data, since the center is right here, it looks like it's a normal curve, but it's a little bit, the little hump is a little bit to the right here. So I would say pretty much normal, except it's a little bit skewed left, just a little bit, because it's a little bit to the right of center. So I don't know what the questions are asking, so make sure you write down those numbers and all. Hold on. Make sure you write down all these numbers if you haven't got them written down, because that's probably what they're going to be asking you. Somebody that knows the question can tell me what do they ask for. That's all right, y'all.
Salary.
Huh?
Is it 33.1 number 37?
Let me go back. All right, the mean salary, what did we say the mean was? 50? So that's 50. The median is 52.5. Select the mode salary, what did we say the mode was? Mode is what? 55. So you can see they pretty much, I don't know why they're asking you for the same thing again. Looks like to me they're just repeating themselves, which a lot of these questions do. Hold on, I'm trying to get to where I can move the keep talking about the new data set. What new data set? There's only one set of data. I don't know what they're talking about, a new data set.
You got to read the question.
I know, exactly. Thank you. Thank you for interacting. I appreciate it. You better stop. I'm telling you, they're gonna get pissed. Business has been good. As a result, Benjamin has a total of $25,000 in a bonus paid to redistribute his employees. An option to distribute bonuses to give each employee, including himself, $2,500. Add the bonuses under this plan to the original salaries to create a new data set. So you just take we're going to add $2,500 to each one. Correct?
Yeah.
So what's 25 plus, let's say this is 25,000, isn't it? Let me go back and look. I don't want to mess it up. Benjamin, blah, 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 so the salaries earned, okay, in thousands. So somebody tell me what, y'all gonna have to add it for me because it's gonna be, I don't want to mess it up on the spreadsheet because all you gotta do is change the spreadsheet. So 25,000 would be 25, what, 250 or 2750,
Yeah.
right? So 27.5. All right, what would the next one be? Be 32.5, 42.5, 52.5, 52.5, 57.5. Y'all check me. 57.5, 57.5, 67.5. And 77.5. Now there's your second set of answers. Should be. Of course, the mode will be wrong because the mode changes. The mode's going to be now 57.5. So you need to make that note. Changes to 57.5. Looks like to me everything pretty much stays the same. Of course, if you add to everybody, does it change the mean? No. What's the old saying? No harm, no what? No foul. If you change everybody's, it's not going to change by the same amount. The mean's not going to change. So, and the median's not going to change either. Now, if you just gave 9 people a raise and left one person out, then it would mess everything up. Okay, so there's your answers there. So that's probably, I would be willing to bet you.
Can you hold it right there for a second? Just for me.
Yeah.
Let me check it.
But that's where the question is. Where'd you get the second set? Because I halfway read the question, so chances are that's where it comes from. You got to add. You basically got to make another subset. And the good thing about the spreadsheet is you can do it on the spreadsheet, and you don't have to retype in all those numbers on your calculator. Of course, y'all already knew that, right? Because y'all are on a calculator drill team.
Can you turn it back?
That's a good one. Huh?
Can you flip it back?
Flip it back to the question.
Yeah.
Yep, there's 57.5 because the mode changed. That's about the only thing that changed. Everything increased by 2,500. Mean salary is still the median. I have to go look at the median. Let's go look at the median. The mean is still 52.5. Let's look at the median. Did I not do the median correct?
Yeah, because it's not. It's saying it's wrong.
It should have. It should have added them up. A6 plus A5.
That's right, because 55's in the middle of those two, right?
Yeah, but they're saying it's wrong, or was that question wrong? Let me go type it in. Oh, that's the wrong. Yeah, it's 57. We got it. So basically, what they're trying to get you to learn is if you increase everybody's salary the same amount, the only thing that's going to change is what? The mode. Because the mode, the median might change a little bit, but the mode will change because that's observed, it's not calculated. So the mode is going to change. Was the mode very important? No. Mode's not important at all, but they ask for it all the time. Standardized test asks for it all the time also. Hold on, let's log back into the email. Mayberry Community College. Back to 120. Okay, that's that question. This is 3.1, number 4/3. A histogram of a set of data indicates a distribution of the data skewed right, which means which measures of center will likely be larger, the mean or the median, why? Okay, first of all, look at the histogram of a set of data indicates that the distribution is skewed what?
Right.
Skewed right. That means all the data is where? So this is usually your what? Your mean right here. And usually the mean and the median is supposed to be close together. But that's going to be your mean right there. But that's going to be way to the left. But I don't know what they're asking. Which measures of central tension will be larger, the mean or the median? Why? Okay, the mean will likely be larger because the extreme values in the right tail tend to pull the mean in the direction of the tail. It's opposite. If this is skewed right, that means that your mean is where? To the left. So you're looking for the opposite. So which one says opposite? C and D. Okay, the mean will likely be larger because extreme values in the left tail tend to pull the mean in the opposite direction of the tail. No, that's not, okay, we're talking about pull the median to the direction of the tail. So there would be A or B, I'm sorry. I was reading the question wrong. It'd be A or B. So let's look at A or B. Because here's the mean. The mean is going to go where the tail is, right? So here's the tail right here. Here's the mean. If I'm looking at this question right, which these questions are yucky, the mean is going to follow the hump. The mean's not going to be over here where the skew is. The mean's going to be where the hump is. So that, I guess that's what they're talking about. But they're calling it the tail. The mean will likely be larger. The median will likely be larger because the extreme values in the right tail tend to pull to the median in the direction of the tail. Well, see, they're talking about two different things. This is the tail, and this is the curve. So I've never called both of them the tail, so I have no idea what they're talking about. So we'll just, anybody want to take a guess at it? This is not a test question because they don't have the question worded right. This is the tail, this is the curve. You don't have tail and tail. You can't call both of them tail, and that's what they're doing. I'm just going to pick C because I have no idea what they're talking about.
Is it maybe like the 37.5%?
No, you can't take a skewed right or skewed and apply it to the empirical rule because the empirical rule applies to the normal distribution. So just write this down. The mean will likely be larger because the extreme values in the right tail. Okay, which one's the right tail? Somebody tell me. I guess this one. Okay, tend to pull the mean in the direction of the tail. Should be the direction of the hump. curve, which is over here. Just remember that one. You need to write that one down. That is not a test question, but write it down. The mean will likely be larger because the extreme values in the right tail tend to pull the mean in the direction of the tail. You ever heard that when you're given a definition of a word, you're not supposed to use the word in the definition? Okay, well in this question, I'm sorry, you got two tails, and you got one's a curve and one's a tail, and they're talking about both of them as a tail. And I don't think that's correct. I don't like the way the question is worded. So I would never use it as a, but what they're saying is the curve, the mean will go with the curve. All right? And that's why they're saying A is the answer. The mean is going to go with the curve. You're not going to have a mean of 86 and the hump be over here. You see what I'm saying? So the mean is going to go with the curve. And the way they got that question worded, it's just not right. Now, the mean will likely be larger because the extreme values in the right tail tend to pull with the direction of the tail. I think it should say the curve, not the tail. That's just my own opinion. I didn't write the book. But makes more sense if you go with the curve than the tail. Not a good question. I mean, I'm glad you sent it, but that's not a good test question. All right, so we've got that done. I ain't got any more questions. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to let y'all go early today. I don't know what time's class over. It looks like we're early today.
2:30.
How much?
2:30.
Okay, I'm going to let y'all go early. And that way, well, it's not a little bit early. Y'all go ahead and finish up the homework. And when y'all come back Thursday, we will finish any questions that you have. And we will go over the test. Capiche?
Got it.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Who's missing from a